If you live and work far away from your aging parents, you know that constant low-level worry. You send money, you call, you do what you can, but deep down, you wonder, is it really enough? Let's take a look at a totally new way of thinking about this problem. It's a tough question, right? And it probably keeps a lot of you up at night. You can't just drop by. So you have to rely on those phone calls where they always say, I'm fine, everything is fine, even when your gut tells you it might not be. So, how do you actually know? Well, the stakes for not knowing are unbelievably high. This number, 75%, it's not just a statistic. It's a tragedy that plays out in way too many families. Let me say that again. By the time you're 40, there's a 3 in 4 chance you will have either lost a parent or seen them become seriously disabled by something that could have been prevented. We're not talking about unavoidable old age. We're talking about things like strokes or complications from high blood pressure, things that consistent medical care could have managed. So, what do? We do what seems logical, right? We ask a relative to check in, or maybe we have a friend who's a doctor and we say, hey, can you keep an eye on them? We create these informal safety nets, but the hard truth is, they're often just an illusion of safety. And this quote from GeroCare's co-founder, Dr. E.B. Ofrey, just hits the nail on the head. These systems are almost always reactive. You're not getting a check-in, you're getting a crisis call, and by then, it's often too late. So let's actually compare what most of us do against what a dedicated professional service can provide, because they are worlds apart. On one side, you have good intentions. On the other, you have a system. Okay, look at this. The key difference is right there in the focus row. Your relative, even if they're a doctor, has their own life, their own job. Checking on your parent is an added burden for them. For the GeroCare doctor, it is their job. They're not waiting for an emergency. They are showing up every single month for a proactive ward round, right there in your parent's home, to make sure that emergency call never has to happen. And let's talk about the real cost. A subscription fee is predictable. You can budget for it. But a preventable stroke? The financial cost alone is massive, but it's the emotional cost. The guilt, the stress, the sleepless nights for the entire family? That's a price you can't even begin to calculate. So how on earth do you solve this in a way that's both effective and affordable? Well, GeroCare did something pretty genius. They used a business idea called the Blue Ocean Strategy to completely rethink how healthcare is delivered. Instead of trying to build more hospitals, they just got rid of them. By eliminating the need for a physical building, they could slash costs and offer a simple, predictable subscription. This makes it way more convenient for your parents. And for you, the sponsor, well, it raises your satisfaction through the roof. And just like that, they created a whole new category, professional VIP care right at home. So I want you to get this picture in your head. Your parents' living room, that's the new clinic. The doctor comes to them, and that doctor is connected to a whole network for prescriptions, for lab work, for scans. If they need an X-ray, transport is arranged. It's the entire hospital experience, just without the hospital. But honestly, beyond the clever business model and the logistics, what makes this work is a really simple, really human promise. This quote says it all, doesn't it? This isn't just a transaction. You're hiring a proxy, a stand-in, someone who will provide the same level of attention and care that you would if you could be there yourself. It's about being an extension of your family. So what does this family member actually do? Every single visit is at least 30 minutes. That's a minimum. It's enough time for a proper medical exam, sure. But just as important, it's dedicated time for a real conversation, for that psychosocial support that catches the small problems before they become big ones. This is such a powerful way to think about it. In Nigeria and in so many cultures, when you ask, have you eaten, you're not really asking about food. You're saying, I care about you. You are on my mind. Your well-being matters to me. Sending a doctor to their home every month, that's the modern medical way of asking, have you eaten? And let's talk about that conversation piece, the psychosocial support. Sounds a bit clinical, but it's really simple. It's recognizing that for our elderly parents who can be lonely, an intelligent, engaging conversation is just as important for their health as checking their blood pressure. Mental health is physical health. And let's be really clear about something. With a network of over 700 doctors across Nigeria, this isn't some second-rate, good-enough solution. This service is designed to meet the expectations of someone sitting in New York or London. It's the standard of professional care you would demand anywhere in the world. So, what does all of this add up to for you, the person thousands of miles away paying the bills? It's one thing
and one thing only: peace of mind. Real, verifiable peace of mind that comes from knowing you are truly taking care of them.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds great, but when's the right time to start? Well, the philosophy is one we've all heard before. Prevention is always better than a cure. You don't buy fire insurance when the house is already burning down. The absolute perfect time to sign up for this is right now, while your parents are healthy and strong. The whole point is to keep them that way. Because once a major health crisis happens, the road to recovery is long, hard, and often incomplete. And they've made getting started ridiculously simple. There's no complicated paperwork. It's literally 3 steps. You create your account, you add your parents' info, and you make a payment. That's it. A doctor in their area is immediately assigned. And from that moment on, all the guesswork disappears. You are in complete control. You get a real-time notification when the doctor arrives and leaves. You get a simple, easy-to-read report after every visit. And you can track every single penny, so you know the money you send for medication is actually being used for medication. And when you strip it all away, this is what it's really about. It's not just about keeping them alive. It's about making sure they have a life worth living. The real goal here is for them to be healthy enough to enjoy their grandchildren, to be a source of joy, not a source of constant worry. Look, you've worked so hard your whole life to provide for them, to give them a comfortable future. But what good is comfort if they don't have the health to enjoy it? So the final question is a simple one. Are you doing enough to protect the time you have with them right now?